Superstar Isabel King. Hi, Izzy. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
On her left, Whitney Allison joining us. And my buddy on the right there, Mark Chilcott. Mark, thanks for being here. Mark's already getting a little Lost Abbey injection. Obviously, equipment a big consideration for the event, top to bottom. But we're here to talk about tires most specifically. Pete, we'll start with you. You've made this transition from road to gravel. You've been riding gravel and stuff all your life and dirt. How much analysis do you do of any individual course when it comes to looking at your overall equipment setup? And then we'll get specifically into tires.
Yeah, can you hear me? Every race is extremely different, and they all have their certain breakpoints. And the cool thing about gravel is you kind of have to either play your strengths or protect your weaknesses, and you kind of got to come up with that tactic beforehand. And all the equipment leads into that. So I have a very specific rig here for this ride that I won't use the rest of the year, and tires are a part of that.
And then do you take into consideration, like, obviously Kansas, much different terrain, things like that. Here we've got varied terrain. We're on the road a lot. We're on flat, hard pack. We got some sandy and things like that. Each race you digest it and be able to analyze which particular tire you're going to use. And does that include pre-riding and even going out and looking at it that way?
Oh yeah, no, I've been out here for a few days, and you kind of put your chosen equipment through the paces, play with tire pressure, that type of thing. Give a few pinch tests out on the side of the road to feel like if you have enough or too little. Very scientific methods.
Izzy, you made the transition from triathlon to cycling, and then we pushed you onto the dirt. Do you have any nightmare horror stories of tires doing bad things to you while you're on your ride, and then having to deal with that in a way that you might not have been used to from your triathlon world?
Knock on wood, not yet. I think the biggest thing for me, the only time that I've ridden these off-road sections before was on a full suspension mountain bike, and that was the end of 2019 for the Filthy 50 ride. And so now it's a funny switch of mentality to go out there with your tiny road bike with, as big as 30, little 32s and see if that's, try to figure out if that's too fat or if that's the right time. And so you kind of mentally switch from, I remember thinking these trails were so intimidating on a full suspension mountain bike, and now I've switched to the full gravel shred world where you're like, okay, these tiny 32s are great, and look what this bike can get over, which is cool. No, knock on wood, catastrophic flats as of now. So hopefully we keep that rolling.
Whitney, what are some of the things you consider in equipment choices like that? And let's talk a little bit too about technique. Certain tires require a little different technique. Like you can get away with more on a different tire, and to Pete's point, you're giving up some things at another point. What does it mean to you, or what are the techniques that are important for somebody that might be new to riding on gravel and loose sand and things like that?
Can you rephrase the question? I don't really understand.
I was rambling. I'm sorry. The question is more based on technique. As the athlete that you are and working in the industry the way you do, what advice would you give people on techniques in terms of how to handle the bike in different terrain that they might not be used to?
I mean, I think a lot of it just comes down to practice. When you are committing to your tire choice, whether you are going to run something that's smaller like a 32, like Izzy is talking about, or if you're going to go more for comfort, like a 40, it's just getting out there and getting a lot of practice on that. Like he was saying, trying different tire pressures. I'm very simple, so I like to just use the MV tire pressure chart for what pressure to start from, and then I can decide if I need to go up or down from there. But I think that's a really simple way.
Mark, with much respect, brother, you represent the everyman part of the crowd.
Yes.
And you know these trails intimately.
Very intimately, yes.
You've been riding them a long time. What do you look for in a tire? What and why?
I am a little more generously proportioned than your average pro, so I look for a really durable tire. I don't like carrying around. I don't even carry a spare tube anymore. I carry a dart and some sealant, but so I'm looking for durability. I want to smash over the rocks and not have to worry about getting a flat, shredding a tire. So.
Mark brought up a good point, and I want to go to Pete with this. Tubes or tubeless, and what do you carry with you on race day to fix any repairs that might occur during the race?
Again, it's so different every race. You know, Unbound, you need something to fix anything, but BWR is very much run like a road race, and there's, at least for the front group, there's like a follow moto with some fix-it tools, not wheels per se, but major catastrophe. And if you are racing for the win, you kind of got to go light, and you know, if something catastrophic happens, your day's done. So here I'll be carrying a single tube, a tire lever, a CO2, a couple plugs, probably in my pocket, not even with a saddlebag. Just it's a lottery, knock on wood.
I like it. Throw a caution to the wind and make it happen. Izzy, kind of same question to you. What's in the bag, if you will? What are you carrying to take care of any of those catastrophic problems that might occur?
Yeah, I think mine is similar to Pete's. Having done 2 races, it's interesting how you approach them. Unbound, I had, you know, a zillion tubes and plugs and extra pump and CO2 and everything. Shout out to Orange Seal, who's over there. I had 0 flats at Unbound. So hoping to keep that going. I'm gonna carry similar to Pete. Run the tubeless setup, carry a few plugs, 2 or 3 CO2 and an extra tube if needed, and then hopefully not need them.
The plugs have become a real important piece of equipment for everybody, and it's growing in popularity too. Whitney, are you running tubeless as well? Or what do you carry in the bag? The same as Izzy and Pete?
Pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to the dirty details then. Mark, I'd like to know your tire pressure, sir. What are your preferred tire pressure that you're going to run, and what tires themselves will you be running?
I prefer like a soft, medium ripe avocado feel to the. I always never measure the tire pressure, so I do it by feel. But I'm running the IRC Double Cross 38s. Been rolling these exact same set of tires for a couple months now. They're pretty awesome. They, knock on wood, have yet to have any issues with this set. They hook up well. They take the rocks just fine. They coast through the sand. It's a pretty solid tire.
Okay. Whitney, how about you? What's the tire you're going to run, and what's the tire pressure?
I'm running the 32 IRC Cerac Sands, and I just rode it on the dirt, or I guess it is actually just the sand, for the beginning of the first dirt section, and they're pretty sticky, so I'm pretty pleased. I'm going to be running around a 35 tire pressure.
Okay. These are personal, intimate details. I appreciate you guys sharing them with me. Izzy, same question to you. What's the tire choice, and how much pressure you got?
I am on the IRC tire panel, and I am running Panaracer tires. I have a 32 semi-slick in the back, so it's got a little bit of knob on the sides, but hopefully still fast on the road because it's got a slick center section. And then on the front, I put a 35 slick. It's a little bit bigger than most people are running, but I consulted with, in my opinion, the most knowledgeable person out there, Pete Stetton, and he said it was a good setup, so I'm taking it and I'm sticking with it.
All right, good luck. Pete, if I remember right, when you won in 2019, you run on a straight-up road rig with 28 slicks?
Yes, sir.
Is that the same thing we're going with this time?
No.
Get us those details, brother.
Well, first of all, now I realize why all the damn avocados in the local market are all bruised. This guy lives here and he's always squeezing them. I deliberated a very long time, and yesterday I finally settled on doing the 30 Cerac sand in the front with X-Guard for a little more grip in the hookup. There's a few sandy corners out there, and I'm doing the 30 Formula full slick road tire with X-Guard in the rear, because at the end of the day, this is 60% road race. It's paved roads, and you know, that's where I feel I need to survive the dirt against guys like Keegan and Howes and Payson, and be able to play my card on the pavement and the climbs, hopefully. As far as tire pressure, I don't think anyone should ever just do what the pro is doing, because tire pressure is so individual. It depends on your comfort level, your skill, your body weight, your internal rim width, so many factors. So whatever I tell you, don't do that. And honestly, I'm just squeezing my tire and saying it feels good.
Izzy, did you hear that? You took his advice.
And I just asked her because she was nervous, and now she's not. If she believes it's faster, it's faster.
From real quick, from the race perspective, I've heard from a couple of athletes that there is a lot of really hard racing on the dirt sections. Is that when the race really broke out? 2019 was and really pinned it on some of those dirt sections.
Always, yeah. The dirt is very decisive here. You have to be able to handle and either make the moves or keep up with the moves. That's the defining factor of this race. That said, it's riding very fast out there right now. It seems like someone's been going, maybe Mr. Avocado here has been going out there with a hose and spraying it down because someone's been watering Sandy Bandy.
Izzy, much different terrain, much different deal than Kansas. What are you looking forward to the most? And I know you have some experience out on parts of this course from 50-50 and other events. What are you looking forward to the most based on what you heard, and what is a little maybe intimidating that you haven't seen yet?
I'm intimidated by the pinch point and that first dirt section. Kind of the only thing, horror stories I've heard about that is that everyone pinches and then it's a crazy conga line in that first dirt section. So focus on getting through that in one piece. I went out and rode it by myself slowly with nobody around and crashed 3 times. So that was a good sign. And I think I'm looking forward to, kind of as Pete says, like once you get back on the road, you close gaps and you make up for any lost time that you have on the dirt. And honestly, like going out there, enjoying it, suffering. They've told me beer is at the end, so you go out and you earn a few beers.
And waffles.
And waffles.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
Winnie, same question to you. You had a great run in Kansas. What are you looking forward to here? What maybe is like in the back of the mind as a concern, or maybe a piece of the course you haven't seen yet that might be a little concerning for you?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of the course before. I've been an instructor at the Source Endurance Belgian Waffle Ride survival camps for 3 years, but ironically, I've never done the race, and I don't exactly know how those camp days all get put together into the course. I'm also concerned about that pinch point and just kind of getting through that first dirt section. The women are starting 5 minutes behind the Cat 1 through 4 men, so I don't know if we're going to be catching the men before the dirt or not, and how that might affect our race. Normally if I'm on the road, I would race with the 1, 2, 3 men, so it could be very interesting. I'm definitely most excited. I am a power rider. I love races of attrition, so I'm just looking forward to smashing tomorrow.
I think you're going to do just that. Mark, you know these trails as good as anybody, buddy. What's your favorite part of this course, and what's your least favorite part?
Favorite part of the course, probably the beer garden. Least favorite, far and away, is going up Double Peak. When you're carrying as much weight as I am, that 20+% grade is brutal.
Well, luckily it comes right at the end. So.
And your legs are nice and soft. So.
Yeah. I don't want to hog the spotlight. Does anybody, you nice folks that took a few minutes to sit down, does anybody got any questions for our panel here? Shout them out. I can pass them up. You guys are awesome. Nothing? Good stuff? Technique?
Do your mustaches give you power?
Do the mustaches give you power?
Oh, yeah.
Mine doesn't work as well as Pete's does, but it does give me power.
The power of the stash. Please.
In that first section, you said you rode that, with a pinch point.
Yeah.
I rode it also, and there's like a concrete drainage. It's like 4 feet. How do you guys hit that? You know that part where it's like a little...
It's a little bit of a rock garden that you transition through there.
Yeah,
Right.
it's like concrete. It goes down a foot and you put that level.
I think they say send it.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I think for that I was out of the saddle, just making sure that if you do hit it a little bit harder, like your full body weight is not on it, so you don't bottom out. Again, I said I would put a little bit fatter tire on the front. For my bike handling skills, if I mess up a line or something like that, I have a little bit of extra cushion with that 35 in the front, so when I bash into a rock or miss that curb hop, maybe I'm still alive, which is good.
Sure. Anybody else?
In all seriousness, the number one rule of the Belgian Waffle Ride is go slow to go fast. It's okay to lose a second and kind of ginger the bike through the rock garden, because then you're not standing there fixing it forever, and you will thank yourself later. You can always do a short little 5-10 second acceleration after it to get your speed back up.
Any other questions, folks, for our panel? All right, guys, gals, thank you so much. Pete Stead and Izzy King, my man Mark, Allison.